Ladies and gentlemen, that over 80% of jobless men in marriages are abusive. They are abusive. Why? Because they are entitled. They have seen you as someone to put the load on, and when you don't give them on time, they start abusing you. They become abusive. Imagine a woman is feeding her abusive, and I blame women. How can you be feeding your problem? The problem that is making you how can you, in your right senses, please let me not go there because that is the reason why I wrote everything today. You know, I said so that I'll just be reading, so I won't go. It ends up in frustration. You put all the burden on one woman. She sends the children to school. She pays the house. Then maybe, in 7 years, maybe you just meet somebody or somebody. You are just able to provide, maybe just say, you got some money. Somehow, just some free will, a gift from somebody. You now say, you now pay half of the bill. And you now find out something, ladies and gentlemen, that over 80% of jobless men in marriages are abusive. They are abusive. Why? Because they are entitled. They have seen you as someone to put the load on, and when you don't give them on time, they start abusing you. They become abusive. Imagine a woman is feeding her abusive, and I blame women. How can you be feeding your problem? The problem that is making you work extra. I had an auntie. Sorry, I think I'm reacting to something. My leg is scratching me. So I'm bending. I'm scratching my leg. Now, my aunt she's a dentist. She would work 8 to 5. Then at 6, go and resume another private clinic and work from 6 to 9, then come back home at 10. So I went to visit her, and then I saw her as she's coming by 10. I was already in the house. My own uncle, because I'm related to the uncle, not the wife, now said, why is she coming late at this time? She said, that there was traffic. Said, well, that he is hungry. I looked at him, I said, that she should enter the kitchen. He's much older he's older. He's an uncle. And he said, when I now said she should enter as in someone is working 2 jobs to pay the rent, to send the children. Number one, he has a kid from before the marriage. It is this woman that is still paying for his extra kiddo. That's the first child. It's not from her. She's the one paying her school fees. Then her own 3 children, which makes it 4. When she just got in, the man was telling her that she came in from the second job. I was in the parlor when she went. He said he was hungry, that he would like is there a bar or something? And she went to the kitchen and started preparing eba and okra soup. When she offered me, I couldn't eat now. And you are sitting down. Not one job. He says he's a printer, but he's printing on the couch in the parlor. And I looked. I told my aunt that, there's something. Is this maybe okay? Maybe tonight was just that. Is this what you do every time? He would wait for her to come back, and then she will now cook after. You know, and I told him, I said, Uncle, can't you even prepare something for her to? She's the one buying the food and you wait for her to come and cook it again after working 2 jobs to feed your children and the children that she did not bear, the child that she did not bear for you. You say, oh, the woman worrying here. Oh, I did not leave them until I was the one that separated the marriage. I said it is not possible. Do you know she did not even stay 6 months? One guy had been eyeing her, one elderly man. So she was, eventually it became very abusive because I know I couldn't just let it go. I said, you will run this woman into the grave. 2 jobs because you could not keep 1 job. You cannot do anything. And then she will get a contract for him. She will borrow him money because he's a printer. Whenever their office wants to do calendars at the end of the month, at the end of the year, she will get it for him. She will borrow him money. He will now do the job and not even return the money that she borrowed him to execute the job. She will now be paying the money she borrowed from the salary. Listen, it is madness. It is absolute madness. She's with another person today. That person, when they started, she was stressed, and the man just said, you know what, I think you should. They were friends, so just sent her abroad, said that she went on a tour because she almost had a nervous breakdown. When, I separated them. This one, I stood in the middle. My mother was there. My mother was like, this is her brother. I said, so what? This is somebody else's daughter. It was serious, so I had not even started the radio program. The man first, when she was depressed, the man first gave her a ticket that she should go and rest in America. She sent me a picture and she was in a train, and I was looking at it that, this train. She had never been outside the country before. There was something better out there. This is a mother of 4. While I was talking, the daughter was in the university. So it's not that small children. There was a mother. At that age, because she was young and petite, agile, she was always... Listen, ladies and gentlemen, marriage is not a call into slavery. Marriage is not a call to carry another person's responsibility. It is a call to share, someone to take a little off you, and then you also take a little off the person. It becomes lighter when 2 people are carrying the load instead of 1. If you are carrying something, those buckets of water, those times when one will carry this from this side, another person will carry, it makes it lighter. The moment your marriage is heavier than when you were single, then you have a problem. When your union is heavier than when you were single, when you were carrying your load alone, it was lighter than the load of your marriage, then you are a mismatch. That marriage should never have happened. Because in the marriage, your load is supposed to even be lighter than when you were single. Jesus said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. If the yoke is heavy, Jesus is not in it. So please don't even call Jesus when you have, with your own 2 hands, walked into and you saw someone, someone was telling me, I just believe in him. I believe, he's very hardworking. I believe he will be, there is nothing wrong with believing in him, but let him get a job first. They are not chasing you to. Then what happens? The woman, will pay your own bride price. You will give him money to go and pay your bride price. So at the end of the day, you married yourself. As you started by giving him money to do everything, then you will continue. You see, whatever you start your marriage with is what you will continue with. If you started your marriage by kneeling down and begging, throughout the marriage, you will keep kneeling down to beg. Let me... for you men, let me go to the men that marry because of looks, that the woman has nothing to offer you but hips, lips, and fingertips, that beauty is all you see and not responsibility, you have a problem. You marry a woman that cannot offer any form of support. You marry a woman that all is like she's beautiful. Oh my God, her shape, her this, her that, Addis Ababa. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. When a woman has nothing to offer you but looks, the looks fade with time. The first pregnancy, the hips, the lips, the breasts that are standing to one nation, you know, one nation, you say the breasts are standing. They first fall a little. First pregnancy. The body expands, carrying a fetus, then after delivery, it contracts. It never goes back to the same, to the same shape. So if that shape was all you saw, by the second pregnancy, the shape is gone. So what is left? What was now your attraction? Do you understand what I'm saying? What is now the attraction? All that you saw was the body. When a woman cannot even support you, but you know, some women even make you feel like, I know the kind of men that are asking me out. A woman without value. A woman that her value is vanity. Vanity, value. Value, vanity. No correspondence, nothing to link. It's either you have value or you are vanity. So now this is what happens. The man becomes a means of income. Do you understand? You are supposed to have a means of income, but then you marry someone who has nothing to offer you but her body, physical. Then you will become her own means of income. Everything to pad, you will pay. She has nothing before but good looks. So that's it. That's it. No value but good looks. Say, well, she can cook. Good. Mama Risika's daughter too can cook. So if you were looking for a cook before, why don't you just marry a caterer's daughter? You must have value. Men, you must marry people with value. Why? Because nothing is guaranteed. During COVID, 4,000 people lost their jobs in the banking sector. 4,000. Do you know what it is? That you go to work. You know, the bank, they have this sadistic way of sacking people. You might not get a letter. You just go to the bank and then you see that your login does not log in. And you'll be like, my password is not entering. They will say you should go and see HR. It is HR that will now tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, you are no longer part of this organization. You just want to log in, you just can't log in. You know, it's rude when other people know that you are sacked before you. So, a gentleman, during this COVID, was sacked. We know him. He could not tell his wife that he was sacked. So every morning he would dress up as if he's going to work. See you, you'll kiss. Why? Because he married a woman who he was her source of income. Was the body, she was beautiful, she was pretty, she had just nothing to offer but fine. So when she hears that he has lost his job, that means their livelihood, their status will now diminish. She would offer that body to another person. So he was insecure that, if she hears that. So he would wake up every morning as if he's still going to. Then by the 4th month, his savings gone, because he had to still try to maintain the same level. Can you imagine when you have lost your job and the woman cannot even support you? In 4 months, all his savings had gone. His eyes were ready. We just go 2 streets away, and go and sit down. They will play game in a friend's house till 6:30. And then he will go back home and say, honey, how was work? Fine. Because he could not tell her. Because that was all she has to offer. Now, the issue is that when she now loses your ATM, her means of income, which is is no longer able to be an income to her, she will place a demand on somebody else. They are the easiest for infidelity, for cheating. They don't even, because, how many men are asking me out? That is all. You know how many men are, but what value are they bringing in? Nothing. Value without value. Nothing. Then this is what now happens. They give birth to the first child, they give birth to the second child, and she's no longer the figure 6, figure 8. Then what happens? The beauty is gone. The Bible tells you that the beauty is like a flower. It fades before you know it. Summertime, it is shining. Winter, it has gone. Very simple. Just first pregnancy, second pregnancy, it's all gone. All the shape has filled up with flesh. So what is your beauty? Then another shapely woman catches your attention. There has to be more than beauty. The woman must have value. She's able to do this, she's able to do that, she's able to do. I was telling someone that I married a man. That is like I am the woman. My wife is so hands-on. At times maybe the generator is bad. I was at someone's office when the wife called and said, honey, the generator is bad. We were in a meeting. The wife called and said, the generator is bad and the gas is finished. And it was like, let them call the generator guy now. Said then he will ask for money. That is a typical housewife. Be calling you in the afternoon for a generator, to service it, to fix the generator, maybe 2-3K. She could not. She had to call him to ask. Gas has finished. Gas was well, not that as it is now, but then, and he would have to transfer a woman without. But thank God, on the other hand, my own generator is bad. I get home, they say the generator is bad. I'm going downstairs and I'm seeing my wife sitting down with screwdriver, December, and servicing the generator. And I'm like, what are you doing there? Said, let me just quickly fix. And I'm looking at, you fix generator again, you service generator, this woman. Then I go back up. I sit down. Not that she came home from the office just to change. She has serviced the generator. Look at this chair. I want you to look around. Please, let me just hold this. Look at. Can you see all this? Look around. Look at my chairs. Can you see that? Can you see the TV? Can you see the TV stand? Okay. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? My wife made all these chairs. She made the dining table. She made the TV stands. Let me show you. She made that dining table, those chairs, she made them. She was the one that fixed, she did this, what do you call it? I will remember, the roofing, You see these chairs? She made them. She has a furniture factory. She makes, when she sits down and starts cutting wood, okay, she made everything, the chairs. She will sit down like this, I went for a woman that could do something. So my headache would, so at home, if there's anything, I just say, call her, the chair is, can you call the, I'd rather, if there's money to be paid, I'd rather pay her than go and pay, but she fixes everything. Now I'm the woman in the house. And in my own father's house, I was the G. I was the, Olumide will come and fix it. And I married a woman that will make me sit down, and then she will be fixing stuff. But I can't just imagine. You marry someone without value, without being able to complement. Now, what now happens to the man? Look at this. Look at this. I was at a Gobi a woman without value. The man is a luxurious bus driver. They had an accident, so they rushed him to Igbobi. His leg was crushed. He broke his. And by the time they x-rayed it, it was a very complex fracture. And then they said they would have to cut off the leg. They would have to cut off the leg. And the man said, now call the wife that, please, let them get money. However much, because he could not afford that metal stuff. It was really, really expensive. And the wife with 2 children or 3 children came and said, who will borrow a woman that does not work money? That they know I don't have means to. He said, I don't let them cut the leg. Because that was his means of income. He was a luxurious bus driver. If they cut off the leg, that means he can't work. And that's where Wahala started. The woman was like, but you did not allow me to work. I said, even if not shop, you go say, make I no work, make I no work. When it now dawned on him that he could not, because they were, it got to a point in time, they gave him a number of days that if they are not able to do the operation, they will have to cut it off because his leg will start getting rotten. The night before, the eve before the day that they will cut off the leg, the man slept and did not wake up. In the morning, they were, trying to prep him up. Oh yeah, God, let's wake up for the... He had died overnight because of the trauma. Do you know the trauma of, what's it called? Thinking, how would I support my children? If they cut off this leg, what will happen? But you see, if he had a wife that could have been a support, at least for the meanwhile, she will be able to take over. And that is the problem. You see these men, these wealthy men, suddenly they die, and their children that were attending good schools, you just see the wife, after some time, they will withdraw them from those expensive schools and now start putting them in, because when they died, the woman had no value. She could not sustain that. They will have to now start scaling down. And you have now put the woman in a bad place because she now has no means of income. Now look at this. What she had in the first place was her body. So what she transacts with is her body and her looks. To now be able to train her children, she has to offer her commodity, which is her body, to another man. And that is the problem. You now start saying this woman is sleeping up and down because that's all. She has no qualification. Her qualification was her body, and her body is what she uses to get income to train her children. So when you don't want to have hypertension, never be, I'm talking to the men, never be with a woman whose commodity is her body. Because as she offered you her commodity, she would offer another person her commodity. But when you marry someone who has something to do, who has a job, who has an education and is willing to use it, who has a skill or talent and she's using it to make money, if something happens to you, she's able to sustain because she is also earning. Both of you will come together and form Voltron. You will be able to support whenever she is down. You can step in for her whenever you are down. That is why the Bible says, 2 heads are better than one, for when one falls, the other would carry them up. But woe unto he who is alone. Woe unto he who is alone. Alone in responsibility. That if something happens, that's the end of it because the other person cannot support. The men that will tell you that God told them, or they just don't have a job, or they are, you see, there are some men that are pathologically lazy. They are just lazy. They are looking for children of wealthy men or women that have substance. Oh, I know enough women of substance that they will not get because I don't know. You just see the person they will bring. They will bring one toothless fairy. They will bring someone that has no bite, has no pedigree. You just look at that. Where did you meet? They say, oh, some were arranged. You know, some people. You have to be careful because this is the area of religious manipulation. You will now see somebody who will go to a pastor that is looking for a wife. You are looking for a wife. You need your, is it that your pastor is what? A pimp? or your pastor is he arranges wives for people, now goes and then now meet pastor, please help me. Because he is a member of the church and somebody that is close to them, say, okay, no problem. The pastor is privileged to know a lot of women in church who are also praying for good husbands. They are looking for a husband. And then they will now look for a woman who can carry the load of this jobless man that is looking for a wife. And then they will call you and say, well, there's somebody. They would have trained and taught the man what to say, how to do. The man will come standing as if he is a man of God, or and will say God said, those words that they've prayed about it, and this man is your husband. And if you and the woman who is cuckoo looking for desperation will make you eat poison. That's how they now go. The woman who is cuckoo looking for will say, no, don't worry, she will handle they will do one shoddy ceremony, and the woman will even borrow him money to pay her bride price. In fact, it's not even all the time that the woman will give her. I've seen where the pastor gave the man the money to pay the bride price. Just go and marry. Everything will be all right. There is a blessing that comes with marriage. You see, children, they bring from heaven the money that you will use to train them. It's a Yoruba proverb. That so you just go ahead and start multiplying without an income, without money. That don't worry, children are a gift from God. They bring a blessing. Once she gets pregnant, you too, the blessing is coming. The woman is she's just happy to. Then you give birth to one child. Then after some time, you find out that this child, JB first year, they will be doing small crash. It will not show then. It is when schooling starts, maybe at 3 years. You will now be looking for the blessing that the child brought from heaven, the money to pay the school fees, or the money to even pay for what do you call it? Milk, shoe, what the child will wear. While you are still thinking, maybe you are still thinking of absorbing it, you are pregnant again. Second one. At least if the first child forgot to bring the money that they will use to, the second child will not repeat this mistake. He will bring the money that they will use to train the two children. When the child opens his hands, nothing. They did not bring anything. It is spiritual money. Okay, the child's head will bring blessings. They will tell you. After, you will now start looking at the head of the child that, what's wrong with the head? We cannot find this blessing because we are hungry. That is when you now know that the income of the woman, she will be stretched thin. And this one will be carrying the Bible saying, don't worry, you have to be patient. We have to be long-suffering. You don't know that there's a difference between long-suffering and to suffer long. They are two different things. And then it now becomes a problem. The woman starts looking older than the man. Because the man will just sit down. He has been sitting down before he married you without a job. So he's used to it. You that have not been sitting down before you married will not be the one going around. It's your sister. They will borrow you money to pay this, to offset this. Then after you now come and tell me, I am tired of the marriage. Oh, foolish Galatians, who had bewitched you? Dare not marry a jobless man, dare not marry a jobless woman. A woman without skill, you don't have to have a job. You can be the job. That is, you have a skill, a talent, a service you provide for money. It's simple. There is a 54-year-old security woman on my street. She works for the Nigerian Legions. 54 years. You see her standing. And I'm like, wow, how does your husband, because they do shifts of 2-3 days. She will work 3 straight days, then she will go off 3 days. And I'm like, at night, if anything happens, you see the woman standing. She said rather than sit at home, that she must work. She's 54. In 6 years, she will be 60. When you see her, the Nigerian Legion, they are a paramilitary outfit. Working. She says she can't sit down. Where's your husband? A day house. He should also come and join you and walk the walk. So you will walk and go and feed him. No. Ladies and gentlemen, whether you have been married 50 years or 30 years, to a jobless person. A mistake is a mistake. No matter how long it took you to make the mistake, it is still a mistake. So I tell people, when you realize you're on the wrong path, stop walking. You realize that you've taken the wrong turn. You don't, after realization, start pressing the accelerator and keep going in the wrong direction. You press your brakes. The next thing, you do a U-turn. And the next thing, you go back to the beginning where you came from. Because a mistake is a mistake. It always ends in frustration. It always ends in tears. Never be with a jobless. If the person, there are some people that had jobs before now. And, you know, maybe like somebody was a banker, a bigger bank acquired their bank and sacked them. And, you know, since then, not really looking for a job, not really. And I look at the women, I said, she has been feeding, there's a woman that I met, she has been feeding her husband for over 20 years. 20 years, she's the one paying rent, she's the one, the children's school fees, feeding. A few times, maybe the guy will get 1 or 2 gigs from his friends who were there, and, you know, he just, but he would now be abusive. Joblessness is abusive. Joblessness, in fact, is already abuse. Joblessness is already abuse. It is financial abuse. Then he will now add to the financial abuse verbal and emotional abuse, psychologically abusing the person. Oh, I have 3 minutes gone. And then some people say we are, you know, we are Christians. We are no. God did not call you to join yourself. He said, "He that does not work should not eat." Stop feeding your problem. Stop accommodating your problem. When you start feeding your problem starts growing in size and stature. They start growing in audacity. They start growing in entitlement. They believe it is your duty to feed me. Do you understand? You will buy clothes, you will feed. How can you be feeding a virus? Don't you know the virus will grow? Then your problem becomes bigger than you because you are feeding it. You are losing weight because you are doing 2-3 jobs. Your problem is gaining weight because it's eating the 2-3 jobs that you are doing. That is a virus and not a companion. Never settle with. Stop feeding your problem. By the time they don't eat, first week, they will go out and look for a job. By the time you call your children, you people, you cook the indomie, you eat it. Stop doing food, stew, that somebody will go into the kitchen and be taking. Do what 3 people eat immediately. You know, you people just, if you have 1 or 2, you people just go to the kitchen, serve them, oh yeah, eat here, bam, wash the plate, wash the pot. When the virus comes to the kitchen, sees that everything is spick and span, shiny, cleaned up. After some time, they will get the mess, they will cry out. They will go and look for what to eat. They will go and look for a job. Then they will start becoming nasty. They will become abusive. That don't you know you are supposed to support in the time of your need? Don't worry. God did not send you to support them. God did not send you to support a jobless person. God called you here to fulfill your destiny, not to go and fulfill another person's destiny, a lazy person's destiny. Stop feeding and housing your problem. They grow. They begin to grow bigger than you. You people don't live long. And if anything happens to you, they move on. They move on. No? You think if anything happens to you, their world will stop? You think their world will stop? If anything happens to you, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1 minute silent prayer and life continues. But the worst thing is that you now teach your children how also to be jobless. That one person should take your responsibility. That is what you teach them. When you raise children in irresponsible houses, you think they will hate it now. You think abuse starts as abuse. Abuse starts as smiles, as love, as laughter. You think abuse starts as no, it doesn't. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing. You would have worn it before you now see the fangs of abuse. Abuse never starts as abuse. So the issue here, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why did something happen to me today? See the way I'm talking. I'm just throwing stuff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Abuse never starts as abuse. You need to understand something first. Raising children with irresponsible parents, that is, someone who refused to work, is telling the children that they should also look for people that would take their responsibility. The funny thing is that a child might hate it, that daddy is always at home, it is mommy that is doing everything. But then the child will grow to be daddy's son, to be their father's son. That is, if anything just happens to them while in marriage, they just throw the towel in the air too, and they lie down and they wait for their wives to carry on, because that is what they were brought up. But when you raise children in responsible homes, that they know that you have to work and provide, then they become responsible adults. So at times you, ladies and gentlemen, are the ones that raise irresponsible children. You raise those jobless men and women that go around looking for others as a means of income. You are those that raise, you think they fell? They did not fall from the skies. They were raised. They were raised to appreciate and embrace joblessness. They were raised to believe that, I cannot suffer like I cannot suffer like. If you cannot suffer, then work. Not look for me. And the stupid thing is the men that you just see a woman pass by because the hips are like calabashes, because the lips are just like grapefruit. You say, no. The first thing the man says is, I have seen my wife. What? Because something passed by you? I just call her, I see that girl, now me go marry her. How? You have not even known what you are, whether you are marrying a crocodile, a water spirit, you don't know. Whether a witch or wizard, whether you are marrying your death, you don't know. You don't even want to get, because you are just taken by beauty. Beauty is vain. It is skin deep. Let there be quality. You see, it is not the beauty that will keep you in your marriage, because you will meet women that are more beautiful. If it is beauty you are looking for, that is, you will meet other. After you marry, you now see another beauty, you will follow it. You have to reset the brain. It is value. What value does she have? Honey, can you help me load my data? I can't even remember. When you even tell me that, can you send me credit? It is so, at what age am I sending credit to you? At what age? At what age? You meet some people, immediately their rent is due. My landlord is kini. Immediately they just throw responsibility at you. Immediately you should run. It is Jesus. Cast your cares and burden on Jesus. It is Jesus. He is your Savior. That one is, Jesus is meant for cares and burdens. Go and get it. It's not me. I am man. I am but flesh and blood. I die. It's only Jesus that cannot die. You can kill me. You cannot kill Jesus. So cast your cares upon him, for he cares for you. It's not for you to be casting your cares upon man, or casting your on woman. Do you know how it is when this one has, they combine? It is beautiful. It is a vineyard. But this one will hide small. You open, bring what you have. Bring it. You bring. You have, and you are not supportive. You see them going to report the women to the pastors. You see them going to report the men to the pastor. You are not supportive. You have, but you don't want to give. What happened to your own hands? Why can't you go and find work? You are the ones, ladies and gentlemen, that raise children without value, that raise men and women without value. God forbid, my own child wanting to go and marry, and you are not able to. Is there anybody that knows of any reason why these two should not be joined in? I will stand up. It will not even get to marriage. I will chase them away. Who do you want to marry? To come and put suffer so that they will be calling me in the morning. This one has not eaten. In my old age, I will be working to send money to you. It's not possible. You will work. You will work. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to change because we raise them. We raise these irresponsible men, we raise these irresponsible women. Your child finishes, is not working, is not doing anything, says, I'm staying in my father's house. Who is your father? We give the person a deadline. You are moving out of this. You are moving out of this house. Even if it is armed robbery, if they kill you, you die. I take my name back. I can't even raise from childhood. Look at my 11-year-old. They are cooking soup. They will go to the market. I can't raise an irresponsible. Sundays, all the men in this house, they go to the market. They buy this, they buy that. They know the value. They will cook and they will serve the women. They will serve the women. So there is no when you get up. So when you marry, you know that you should cherish them. You have to continue my tradition. They will cherish who they marry. That's what you teach them. Sundays in my house. At times I just stress my daughter because, But women, they sit down, the men will serve. The men will cook, the men will serve the food. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, the men will serve. Can't have some jobless people. Can't have people without value, you will raise them. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have gone beyond my time. The joblessness is a big problem. How can you be marrying, saying I do to joblessness? You do to someone who cannot eat, who cannot feed, who has no future, you can't even tell somebody what do you want to do in 2-3 years time. Someone that is not eating now, he's thinking of 2-3 years time. Will he even live to get to 2-3 years time? Ladies and gentlemen, it is well. Let me read some comments. Okpeyemi_Ade BG. If you marry jobless person, no be juju be that. It is correct juju. Which factors? Wow, what an awesome time tonight. Ladies, no more sentiments. Use your head and think ahead. Wow, great. Thank you. Olusegun 347. Which factors? Ron, no be only marry. He wants to marry her. Okay, let me see. There's a conversation going on. Indeed, beauty is vain and void. With factors, they are hungry wolves. Yes, so Akere, that's Akere Le Abel. Parents are somewhat responsible for the character formation of their words. Yes, the personality of a child starts showing by 2-3 years of age. Their character is fully formed by 11. So you have between 1 and 9 years to train a child. By the time the child is 10, character is set. Personality is still malleable. You can, take what you need to take away, add what you need to add. But by the time you're at 10, 11, character is set. So you have between 1 9 to raise your child. And then while they're 11, you still continue until they move out of your house. Things you don't agree with, what? That is raising a child. I don't know what it is in modern language. Olusegun factors, a parasite indeed. Olusegun 347, a jobless person lies a lot and lives a fake. Oh yes, they lie. They always overcompensate by dressing. They dress more than people that have jobs. They would dress, you would think they overcompensate. Mark Talk Accessories. Yes, so stop feeding your problem. Okpeyemi_Ade, the jobless is a virus. Yes, let's see. Olua Sheun, they can marry, or many who are jobless in marriage often nurse a certain anger even against their partners. So I agree, they are often abusers. Okay, you said it too. Let me answer that. There is what you call jealousy, bitterness. There's what you call resentment. Because anything you do, they'll say, is it because you are the one dropping the money? Is it because you are this? It now becomes a grudge. You resent them even for providing for, because you think any small thing, see the way she's walking, because she's the one providing. Or see the way he's talking, is it because he's the one providing? I handled a case 3 months ago. The woman lost her sight. The man took her name because she was the provider. He lost his job. Anything the woman says, she doesn't know, because you are clinical, you are rude, you are this, because come back late. I'm working. Are you the only one that works? One day she went to the office. While taking an order from a client, her eyes just went dark. She just couldn't see. She kept rubbing until, she just threw things. I can't see. There was commotion in the office. By the time they got her home, the husband was sitting down and laughing. That Madam Office, no sense of, how would I put it? There was no emergency. There was no shock. The man was, yes, Madam Emergency. Said, sir, she just didn't say, put her down. Don't worry. We'll handle it. The office, her colleagues were shocked that the man was not even, the woman was. Now she works, she's at National Stadium in Surulere. She's into one sport, I think she works with the sports, you understand. She lost both sides to her marriage, to her jobless husband, who now developed that guile, that malicious. Let me tell you something. That your joblessness is a doorway to anything. Anything can happen. They could hate you, eventually say, you are talking, you are proud, let us leave that. Let me keep going. Who's here? But repeated mistakes becomes a choice with factors. Oh, yeah. And Oluwashenijo Kabarisa Olumide, thanks a lot for the good work. Many are now opening their eyes due to the good work you are doing. You and Joyce on Nigerian Info are doing well. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. With factors, they will now be looking for barrister to intervene. Please, it's a very serious matter. As I'm talking to you, my phone is ringing. That phone, I don't even know who it is. You call me 10, 11 midnight, 12 midnight, 1 midnight. It's a pandemic. The issue is a lot of people don't know. The Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Oluwasegun 3:14. He shut it down, Nisa. Oh, I ran with factors. You ran from where with factors? As I'm scrolling with factors, are you? Let me see. Until I did. Oh wait, hold up. Proverbs 31. Oluwab says. Proverbs 31 defines a wife to have. Find one, and you are blessed and favored of God as a man. Husbands, provide an enabling environment for your wife to thrive. Well, yes, so me that I'm always anywhere I go, if they want to make doors, I'll say my wife makes doors, so she makes everything. Udua Kudofia, you are married to an awesome and great supportive partner, value adding partner in progress. She's a beautiful blessing. Yes, so Honeydews, Auntie Lide is a legend. Yes, so thank you. Wow, Kabiru official. Yes, great interiors. Oh, yes, so very great interiors. Value. Great. Oluwabs. Let me see. And this is Honeydews. John 12. Oh, okay. I don't know. Speaking fire. Wow. Okoyemi understanding with the speaking fire. Addis Ababa. Yes, Addis Ababa now. Is Addis Ababa. The way this thing scrolls, I don't understand. I will just see myself at the end. The jobless people can sleep and rest at any day, anytime. They are in a permanent state of rest. You know that Newton's law of motion, that a body would continue at its plane, whatever, in a position of rest until compelled by an external body to move. The first law of motion. Those are the jobless people. They just continue in that state of rest because they have no problem. The Mugu is the one going to work. What else before I go? Okay, I think that is it. Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Everybody. Yep. So I think I have gone round. An infidel is one without a specific principle. They have nothing, no code, no moral code. I think it's the poor educational system that produce unemployable graduates. How can one make his or herself employable? Barrister, please, I find it difficult to register for your singles. Is it single sermons with the link or singles program? with the link. Bamidele266. Please send me. Can you send me a message on DM me on Instagram? I would please just DM me on Instagram, Bamidele. Okay, everybody, I think we have gone too far. Joblessness is really a plague. I wish everybody all the best.